Morning.
Yeah, good morning. Welcome to Without a Candle.
I'm Carla, and this is Karlie.
Yes. We have taken a break for like 2 weeks
Yeah,
on the podcast. It has just been we're getting out of the busy season, so
right.
that means rest,
Yeah,
right?
and it's so nice.
Yeah, and trying to find rest and figuring out what is priority and where the podcast is more of a passion project and not
Yeah.
really a necessity for like our everyday. This kind of was one of the things that fell off for a while.
Well, it's okay to have transparency
Hmm.
and let people know that we are human and that we do have a lot of stuff going on. And it's also okay, I think, for everyone to know and to realize that you don't have to always have a lot going on.
Yeah, no, we don't.
Taking a time out is so freaking important. And through the seasons, because it's taken a hot minute, not feeling guilty about taking that time out. Um, it's it's tricky,
Yeah,
but the rest is so much different. When you can doze off and take a nap and not wake up in a panic.
yeah,
Like
for
what
sure.
did I miss?
Yeah,
And so I just heard something um, about the fear of missing out.
yeah,
And I feel like that's a real thing too,
yeah.
So, like, I don't have to be here 24/7. If you guys come in and Janice is here to take care of things or Jill's here to take care of
Hmm.
things, that's okay,
Yeah,
right? So, yesterday I was here working a little bit, and we'll go into our podcast in a second, but I think this is important.
yeah,
It's important to realize that I can go MIA, that Karlie can go MIA. And I'm not sure she believes that yet. So,
I'm
um,
working on it.
yes,
I'm working on it.
we can miss you.
Yeah,
We can appreciate presence of someone, but man, to appreciate rest, guilt-free rest, without the fear of missing out, it's
yeah,
extra lesson, huh?
yeah,
So,
yeah,
but anyway, here we are,
yeah.
back last minute on a Thursday morning,
Yeah,
so
so
Karlie can edit this before Friday morning.
yeah, that'll be
Um,
one of my tasks to do today is just get it all set up
yeah,
and ready to go for tomorrow, which it's super easy because you
yeah,
guys know, like, we don't edit. Well, minimal edit. Like, if the battery dies on the equipment, we'll
yeah.
edit that little pause out, right? But as far as like editing what we say, you guys get the raw and unfiltered, and that is perfect for me to just be
Absolutely.
able to be like, okay, download and then upload, and then we're done.
Yeah,
It literally takes me max 15
yeah.
minutes. So,
The biggest thing is just scheduling time to get in here
and actually
around all
record.
this time. Yeah,
Yeah.
yep, yeah.
Yeah. So, I think it was last week I had made a post on the Facebook page, about the podcast and how like we've taken a pause, but keep sending us um,
Right.
your interest in like what you want to hear about and stuff. And we got a handful.
Yeah,
One of them was around our, um, thoughts and beliefs with like the paranormal and things like that. I don't remember exactly what the
how it
um
was worded.
how it was worded, but we thought spooky season is here.
Yeah,
Halloween is coming up. So why not jump on that one for this week? Yeah.
I think that fits.
Yeah.
Um, and at the same time, I also believe maybe it doesn't fit a little bit. And Carly's going to be confused because we're always in
Yeah,
touch,
right.
right?
But it's just
So,
the aesthetic,
oh,
you know.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like more people start to tune in and pay attention a little bit more.
Hmm.
As the nights get longer and the days get
Yeah.
shorter, there's more time and stillness and slowness. See, good morning,
Yeah.
right?
Sorry, guys.
For people to have more awareness,
Yeah.
as fall comes and, Halloween rolls around. There's a different sense of slowness out of the summer hustle and bustle.
Yeah, for sure.
So, let me see.
So I guess
It's
the first
tricky.
question
Yeah.
is, do we believe in the paranormal?
Obviously,
Yeah.
right? But I
Yeah.
mean, oh, I shouldn't say that was shitty to say it like that, huh?
Well, no, not
So,
really, because if people know us, then they know. You know
but
what I
maybe
mean?
even more so, like, what does that mean to you? What was the paranormal mean to you?
Hmm.
Right? So, um,
So that perspective has definitely changed as I've gotten older
okay.
and I've learned. Because like when you're middle school, high school, young
Yeah.
adult,
Ooh,
like it's all
ghosties. Right.
spooky
Yeah.
and it's all, you know,
Mm.
is it evil or is it good or, you know, all the things. And then as you get older, and especially as you get into the spiritual
Mhm.
journey, you realize that there really is no good or
Yes.
evil. And then also the concept of like when you go investigating, you're connecting with, you know, spirit that is centuries old or hundreds of years old. And when in reality, like the spirits that could be around could be as fresh as yesterday.
This lifetime. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be like the 1700s or
Hmm.
early 1900s. Like it could have been 5 years ago.
Right.
It could have been last week. Like,
This most recent lifetime.
yeah.
So it's also tricky to talk about some of these things too because beliefs change.
Hmm.
In my opinion, beliefs change as experience changes.
Hmm.
So today, as I am, October 16, 2025, because who knows, people might hear this 10 years from now,
Yeah.
right? Um, my beliefs now and understandings now may be different in the next 5 years, 10 years,
Yeah.
tomorrow, right?
Right.
And so, um,
So
yeah,
what are those beliefs?
paranormal. So some of those beliefs are, for example, and this is recent this year too.
Okay.
It goes back to the conversation of not just reincarnation, but incarnation.
Hmm. And we
Where
talked a little bit about that
we
on some
did,
other
yeah.
podcasts. Yeah.
And then the concept that maybe there's another dimension closer than we know,
Hmm.
and maybe that the spirits like there's energy here, there's energy all around, but there may be an energy body right here right now on a slightly different dimension,
Yeah.
a slightly different frequency. um
And that's what a spirit is.
yeah, so
So,
a
okay.
spirit versus, and then there's so much to this,
So
like,
if we believe in the concept of there's many versions of us living different timelines,
yes, oh, that's a whole different conversation.
right?
Yeah,
So
it's
then
crazy.
who's to say that, you know, when we're investigating the paranormal, it's not tapping into one of those other timelines of
Right,
different versions of different people, not necessarily them as past.
right.
Interesting.
I mean, it goes back to your concept of the weave, right, and the
Mhm.
web of
Oh, the web of weird. Yep.
yeah.
Yeah. No, that's
So, and it's one of those things, like, this is a conversation that could be more intriguing with a group,
yeah.
right? Because I don't know what, Sally, sitting over next door may or the next seat over, she may have a concept that may click something with me,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And so paranormal, as most people, I believe, as most people understand, spirits, wow, that was a different concept I just heard. Of past, and future,
Hmm.
or past.
Past, present, future.
Yes, thank you,
Yeah.
Karlie. See, this is why it's teamwork.
Yeah.
Um,
It's so
you
funny
can see my
watching.
wheels spinning.
Yeah,
It's
if
so
you
crazy.
guys are watching this
So
on YouTube, it's so funny
yeah,
because you get to kind of see what I see every day
it's
when it's,
constant shifting. Yeah,
yeah, like her face does not hide when she's getting downloads.
and then the confusion, the excitement comes in, and so that's something more to ponder later. But the past, present, future could all be here and now,
Hmm.
and those different spirits and those different timelines. That's different. Okay, new concept. So,
Yeah.
but that paranormal, as most people understand, would be, and I don't know what this is either. Like, there is not any emotion other than confusion
Well,
going
you
on.
were saying that your contact was following
So,
you
oh
earlier,
yeah, true
so
story.
that's probably a little bit of it.
Like, one feels backwards. Anyway, side note, squirrel. Um, but that's a whole different concept,
Yeah.
right? But as most people, okay, I'm still thinking about that whole past, present, future
Future
thing
things,
in the
yeah.
here and now. So I believe that most people conceive the understanding that the paranormal activity is of just those that have passed much farther back in the timeline, in this timeline as we know it today. So on that concept, what do you want to add? Or
Well, so
I feel like
as
she's about to add to my confusion because I can see her thinking.
a little bit, yeah, because the paranormal perspective is so individualized, also based on religion.
True.
So if you
Yeah.
follow a Christian path that believes in heaven and hell and angels and demons, well, you could, I'm not going to say that you do, but you could have the ideology that the paranormal is like the devil or demon or some type of evil entity that, and you could even believe that if you believe in like a left-hand path or any path, really. It's very individualized, but it also comes down to your beliefs and your religion on like what all that means to you.
And people don't know what they don't know.
Yeah.
Like moments ago, I had no understanding of what that new download was,
Yeah.
right? So maybe let's talk a little bit about, because people are wanting this. I feel like people wanting more of a storytelling session with
Yeah, we
this,
can
right?
do that. Yeah.
And that may be this conversation because already it's been a little scattered.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's on me. But maybe let's just reflect on some early interactions
And experiences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what, as a paranormal experience, per the understanding of the general public or general population, do you remember your first?
I do.
Okay.
I do. And it's very interesting because you need a little backstory on like how I ended up experiencing this.
I mean, we have time. Let's go.
We do. Okay. So I me and my family moved around a lot when I was very young, up until probably fifth grade. It was the summer between fifth and sixth grade. We finally moved into like what I call my childhood home because that's where we spent like most of my childhood. And that's like the house I moved out of and all the things.
So it's where you remember being raised.
Yes.
Okay.
So that house, a little history on it, actually was the first house that was built in La Crosse, Indiana, a little farm town. And it originally was built as a hospital and doctor's office in the late 1800s. And over time, it was renovated and reconstructed for residential. And when we moved into it, my dad was in the middle of finishing those renovations because it still had like the plaster that had the horsehair in it, like very old building structure. Okay. So you can imagine what has happened in that in that building because it was a hospital and a doctor's office for so long. Well, the lore behind it, and I probably should go back and try to find some like historical information.
I mean, I'm up for a road trip.
I mean, so we'll get there because it's no longer there.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll get there. So back when I heard the lore and everything, I was still a child, young adult. Like I never dug deep into it, but now I'm wondering if there's still some records. But we were told that the doctor, the last doctor in that building, his family lived there as well. And he ended up having a psychotic break and hanging himself and his family. And yeah, like in the room that ended up being my sister's room. Okay. So it was very scary, right? I remember one of the first nights that we stayed there, we ended up having a really bad storm and the power went out. So we had no power.
I mean, that sounds like the perfect
I know, right? So, but by the time the power went out, it was like already bedtime. Like we were already in bed, so like it didn't really matter or whatever. But I remember waking up in the middle of the night because there was a half bath upstairs. And I stood up to go to the bathroom, and I thought my sister was sitting in my room with me. So I'm like really groggy. I'm getting out of bed and going down the hallway, and I look over and I start talking to my sister because I'm like, why are you in my room? Like, whatever. She's not answering me, so I'm like, whatever, I have to pee. And mind you, this is like going into sixth grade. I don't know how old I would have been around that time. So I go to the bathroom, and as I'm walking back out, I look into my sister's room because our rooms were like catty corner to each other down this hallway. And the hallway upstairs, like it was so ominous because it's a long hallway, and at the top of the stairs there was a bedroom, and then along um at one end of the hallway, and then as you go down the hallway you had a bedroom to the left. You take like two steps, there's a bedroom to the right, and then the door going into like this bigger like operating room is what it was a door at the end of that hallway. And so like you had to go through there to get to the bathroom. And I'm walking back and I look over into my sister's room and she's laying in bed sleeping. And so I'm like thinking to myself, there's no way that she got up out of my room and went into her room and already fell asleep. And I walk back in, catch the glimpse of the girl out of the corner of my eye, and then it disappears. And so as years have gone on in that house, she would make appearances and stuff. And she was never like, I never felt like scared with her around, but she was definitely like a younger girl. And she always presented herself as like just observing, just sitting and observing. And then as soon as you would like acknowledge, she wouldn't be there anymore. I stopped seeing her probably when I hit like my sophomore or junior year.
So, okay, this is going to tie into another piece of request for
Okay.
podcast. What happened to you your sophomore year? What major life shift happened to your sophomore year?
I know, and I'm not going to share it.
That's okay. It's fine.
Yes. And
But
then shortly after that is when I moved out.
Okay. So your sophomore year, you stopped seeing the entities, but there was a life shift.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So later in another podcast, I can't talk today.
Yeah.
In another podcast tied to life events, the word previously used was trauma. I don't feel like trauma is the only thing that shuts off abilities. But maybe you'll hear more about that conversation later.
Yeah.
So that was your first like option of remembering a situation or a I like the word situation.
Yeah.
But before that, do you feel like there was inklings of a knowing of something?
So yes, but not so much tied into the paranormal.
Okay.
So like as my wheels are turning now, I'm thinking of like that intuition like tap in. And the first time I could now I'm recalling having some type of intuition was the night my grandfather died.
Okay.
That sense of just knowing something was going to happen.
Yep.
And it did.
So I struggle a little bit with storytelling as far as time and space in a linear sense because of my lack of awareness of time and space.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm not sure I could personally pinpoint my first experience. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like I struggle putting things in a chronological order.
Yeah. But share what comes to mind.
Growing up in the Appalachian regions and that in the hills, and spending a lot of time on older land, right, with my grandparents during the summers and weekends. There was often just moments of like knowing there was something else, but not knowing how to ask or even how to share awareness that there was something else. Like if you hear something in that time of my life, I wouldn't have said out loud, did you guys hear that?
Yeah.
Or did you guys see that? Right? Like what was that?
Yeah.
But like that property on the farm, grandparents' farm, was almost the perfect storm for entities, right? Because there was always the finding of arrowheads and other things, right? So there was older ancient activity there. And then there was the creek. And then there was like all the farm animals that we buried like way at the bottom of the field, right? So it was like the perfect storm. But without a shadow of a doubt, the first like punch in the gut awareness was, do you remember Napster? The pirated downloading music thing?
Yes.
Okay. So had a home computer, was listening to some music that was probably frowned upon by family really loud because my mom would leave for work early and then I would get up and get myself ready and all the things. And I heard an old lady scream at me, turn that shit off. Like, as plain as day, like my mom had come home and caught me listening to something and turned that shit off. And this was after my grandmother had passed, so it could have been her, right? Yeah, so I did. I turned that shit off, ran up the hill, and I know you guys don't know what that means. I'll have to paint a picture someday, to my sister's house, completely winded. And she's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yep, I'm fine.
Yep.
Nothing to see here."
Yeah.
Right? But that house was riddled with activity.
Okay.
That typically could not be explained.
Yeah.
And so this is one of those things too that, you know, the previous mention of the land. So entities aren't just tied to structures, right? Like lands can have spirits and activities as well. You hear a lot of stories about soldiers and Indians and all the things, right? Native Americans. Sorry if that hit someone oddly because I misidentified. So I apologize for that. But so the story behind the trailer or the house that I'm talking about is that once upon a time was a trailer in a mobile home park, and that someone was shot outside the back door, right? So there's that, you know?
Yeah.
And then later, my dad built on the second half to make it a house, to make it a home.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a lot of activity in there. Okay. So maybe I need to jot down some stories.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Okay.
But even now, here in this building, in this space, we notice a lot of things, right? Like,
not even just us, like there's
everybody.
People
that
are like, is somebody here with you? It's like, nope, maybe,
I
but
mean,
not physically.
Yes, not in this dimension, not in this realm.
Yeah.
So profound messages, right?
Oh, can we put a pin in that to go back to my story quick?
Yeah.
I forgot to add that house burnt down shortly after we moved out. Like, it was completely empty. No one was living in it. Just poof one day. But the year my parents were moving out of it, a sinkhole opened up underneath.
And that's not creepy as fuck.
Yeah. So, like, rural Indiana, where it's flatter than flat out there.
Yeah.
No cave systems, nothing.
Just
opened right up in the yard. So it was really weird because, like, all of the rooms, like, I know you guys can't see back here, but, like, this whole blue rug, like, section was as big as, like, our bedrooms, if not a little bigger.
Yeah.
Because it was a hospital.
Right.
Like, those rooms were massive.
Yeah.
So the downstairs area was renovated into, like, there's a bedroom down there with a full bath. And then there was, like, a mud room with, like, the laundry room and a half bath. I would go down to the basement. I never once stepped in the basement.
No, thank you.
Hell no. Every time I would, like, stand at the top of those stairs and look down, I would get sick. Like, nauseous, sick.
Like you just knew.
And I'm pretty sure, like, I can't confirm. I probably can look and see if I can confirm it, but I wonder if it used to be, like, where the dead bodies would go. Like,
and so if your mind took you there and it's not your imagination, like, you're probably not wrong.
Right.
So tapping into intuition as a, you know, middle school age child, the sense of knowing.
Yeah.
Like, oh, no, thank you. You just knew.
Yeah.
And so, and it's not, I don't feel like it would be logical for a sixth grader to connect all of those dots.
Yeah.
To be like, oh, that's where they kept the dead people.
Yeah.
Unless it was an intuitive message.
Right.
Like, oh, that's where they kept the dead people.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and then also, I was pretty sheltered as a kid.
Yeah.
So, like, I probably would not have put the pieces together, like, knowingly that was a pork. Right. You know what I mean? Because, I had, like, worldly experiences, but then I was also pretty sheltered in, like, that aspect.
Right.
You know? So it was very interesting. And now that I'm like thinking of this,
Yeah.
because I haven't thought about this in a long time,
Yeah.
upstairs was like the main, because it was broke up into 4 rooms and they were like,
They were all larger. They were
yeah,
all like,
imagine like the illness and the deaths and like, and
yeah.
I even think about like the experiments.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Because what did they not know?
Right.
Like,
And it was like a farm town.
mhm.
I mean, it
What were
still
they
is a
trying
farm
to
town.
figure out?
Yeah.
So, and on that same note about even if there is no entity,
Mhm.
that space holds energy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, probably that might be what's wrong with your sister.
Probably.
Because there was conversations of maybe different personalities.
Hmm.
Okay.
That's
Interesting.
wild. Sorry, Michelle. She probably doesn't listen to this anyway.
Okay.
That's funny. No, but that's accurate. Man,
The more you know.
yeah, for sure. So,
But,
going
yeah.
back and circling back, I'm sorry, like I had
No.
I couldn't get past it.
Yeah.
I couldn't get past it. I'm like, okay, I have to remember this, I have to remember this. And then I wasn't listening to you. I'm like, no,
No,
we gotta,
I mean, we
yeah,
share. So as you continue to speak, like, I'm like, I've got to be sure I mentioned that to her, like,
yeah,
after. So I took
yeah.
my chances and said it.
Yeah, so let's talk about, so we were talking about entities here,
Hmm.
and then I do want to touch on Ross.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
man.
like, oh, and then
Because it's a place
the
someone
last
knows.
location.
Mm,
The
okay.
last location.
So, um, too many options.
I know.
This is where decision fatigue sets in. I'm like, okay, I'm just done. But okay, so pick one. What's first?
Okay, let's start here because we
Okay.
were already talking about
Here. Okay.
it. Yeah. So you were mentioning that
Yeah.
there's activity all the time. Even people come in are like, are you
Yeah. Or that they'll think they see some. I don't know what that
seeing
was.
something?
That they're seeing something kind of swoop through.
Yeah.
As if maybe like something semi-solid, like a smoky or a cloudy, just enough energy to catch awareness, but not solid things being seen, solid things being seen by most individuals.
Yeah.
However, there have been days where I was here cleansing or doing a live before I opened the shop, and there was one day specific. I looked up from doing my live and I started to say, "Oh, I didn't hear you come in because I thought that you were standing there." But then you weren't, right? There was no one saying that because you were in my mind, you were the only one coming in for the day.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's why I automatically assumed that you were there, and I just didn't hear you come in.
Yeah.
And I even noted on the live, "Oh, I thought Karlie was here, but she's not." So that was different.
Yeah.
And then just certain days, like it just feels like I need to greet the space.
Yeah.
And differently as not just greeting the space. Like you can tell
Like
when there's an
visiting.
awareness, a presence here.
Yeah.
Right. As if you were here.
Yeah.
You know, good morning, or sometimes when I leave, it still feels like I'm leaving someone behind. So I'm like, okay, have a good night, you know, and just kind of like remove myself after the hours.
Yeah.
But have you had one specific?
Not so much like profound, but I do feel like the same things that you are talking about. I do want to note that this kind of circles back to the individual ideology.
Right.
We've had some people that have been in here express like this sense of like a different type of energy in here. So that's been like maybe one or two in the last, but this person, and I don't know if you remember this or not, and I probably am not remembering it 100% either.
Right.
But they were saying something was in our Reiki room. It was like stealing energy. So that was interesting.
So I do remember the individual.
Yeah.
And this is going to be something shitty you guys hear me say. I don't give them a lot of credit.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like they were here to try to create that chaos.
Yeah.
And that maybe they were that chaos.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Hopefully that helps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that, like, we don't get that.
Absolutely
Maybe
not.
like 1% of the time,
Yeah.
you know? And then I do want to note that I believe that a cat has passed away on
Okay.
this land or in this building at one
Mhm.
point, because we do get a lot of people asking,
If we
is
have a
there a
cat.
cat in
Yeah.
here? Because they have seen like a cat walking around.
Yeah.
I'm like, no,
Not
no.
that we know of, not in our time here.
Yeah, so that's really interesting to kind of note, as like it's not always just human.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's our pets. So.
I do remember a situation kind of similar when I lived in Albuquerque.
Mm-hmm.
There's a boutique that was one of my favorites, and if you find her online, it's Yes Organics Boutique in Albuquerque, New Mexico. But she was from France, and she still embodies that very French person. I'm struggling for words today. And so the counter was quite high. And I was in there for a class way back when on anointing oils. And I had asked her about a cat. And she's like, oh, we don't have a cat. I'm like, well, then maybe you do, just in a different way.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of weird. And
Yeah.
cats are typically tied a lot with the spirit.
Absolutely.
We hear that a lot too.
Yeah.
And so, okay, so we shared some first profound kind of awakening aha moments to us realizing that, hey, this shit is real. And then growing up and being who we are now, to appreciating that this shit is real.
Yeah.
And that there's more to things than people let us believe as children. And that's probably another topic for another day, but the frustration that I have around adults that tell children they're not seeing things, around adults telling their children that they're not hearing things like downloads or spirit messages and those kind of things. So we had mentioned maybe wanting to share some information about Roz, because that's a local place or local space that people kind of know and understand, and that can, we can still visit, right?
Yeah.
And so we've been there.
And currently, they do their ghost walks.
Right.
So it's every Friday and Saturday in October. We're 2 weeks. 2 weeks, y'all. Got 2 weeks to get your ticket.
Calendar.
On my invisible, 2 weeks. So if you don't get your ticket, get your ticket.
And most of them are sold out already.
Yes. So, I got mine super early. I'm doing it next week for the first time. I lived here for almost 11 years and I've never done ghost walk. James yelled at me. I'm like, well, it's better late than never. Like, so so next Friday, I'm so excited. So if you're in Cynthiana next week, the 24th, we might have a tour together. We'll see. Anyway, we do, you started doing overnights at Roz, what, 4 years ago?
The hell if I know.
Something like that. Because you and I have done 3 years together. Yeah.
So I think even the first one, the one you were there, was our first.
Okay. Yeah. So then 3.
We started at the same time.
Yeah. Okay. So then 3 years together doing our Roz overnights. And what that is just us getting a collective group together and going and hanging out.
And exploring, This time, though.
We had an investigation team. Yeah. The lovely girls of MK Paranormal out of Lexington. I absolutely love Bethany and Amy. I love them. And they do the ghost walks in Lexington. So they're already sold out though. You Roz missed out on that. So Roz, give us a little history.
I mean, so I'm not a history person.
Yeah.
So for me to recall proper history, that's probably not fair for me to do. I'm totally going to butcher it.
Okay.
So as I know it, it's one of the oldest still operating opera houses in Kentucky. The oldest.
Yep.
Okay. And one of the most active paranormal spots, right?
In the state of Kentucky.
Yeah. So that's super exciting. It's just down the street from us.
Yeah.
But no two visits are the same.
No.
Right? No two visits are the same.
Yeah.
And I definitely feel that the presence there understand and are aware of when we are there as a collective, wanting to connect, wanting to communicate, versus when we're just there watching movies. Because I've been there many times with a family watching movies, and
it's
there's not
very
there's nothing.
docile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that just may be my state of working versus not.
Mm.
You know, am I here to work? Am I here to experience? Or am I here with my family to watch
Yep.
a movie? So intention changes things. But lots of activity throughout. And
I do want to note that Raw's Opera House actually started on Walnut Street, which is now the
yes.
museum, and then moved to Pike Street. And I don't know the timeline on if it moved to Pike Street after Cynthiana burnt down, or if that was already established on Pike Street
Gotcha.
when that
Yeah.
fire happened.
So in the walk, they do share more. They do share more about the history.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I'm excited. Yeah. So I'll come back. I'll do a
maybe
quick
a drop
side
link
quest.
in the bottom if you can find the history.
Yeah, I'm gonna
page
put their website
Okay.
because they have on their website investigation like photos and videos and stuff of like what they've captured there.
Yeah.
They do have proof backing up like what they have and like what the investigators have found. MK Paranormal, like a lot of their stuff is on their website.
That's nice.
On Raw's website, yeah, because they go like frequently, so that's pretty cool.
So what is your most favorite experience from Raw's? Do you have something?
So I'm going to say it's my favorite just because it was so profound and the experience was so heavy.
Okay.
So if you've never been into Raw's, they still have a section that is the segregated area from when, you know, we had segregation. And it's not used, like it's purely there as like a historical like moment, right? And so like the original chairs are in there. It's like it's just heavy, like even walking up to the area. And I have never been one to like physically feel anything or physically experience. It's more so like me just hearing or like getting like the vibe or
the awareness.
Yeah, the awareness. Except in that area.
Okay.
I think it was the second time. I think it was our second trip over there. I remember standing on the stairs. You were sitting down. This was when you and I were there together. And I got so dizzy that I fell forward. I didn't fall on my face. Like I was able to catch myself, but like I fell forward. And it was just because of the heaviness of energy and this, like I felt so sad in that space. I felt so restricted. And I fully believe that I was experiencing that because whatever entity or spirit was around me wanted me to feel what they were feeling and how they were feeling,
so
being separated. Yes.
Not physically, emotionally.
Yes.
Okay.
And it made me so overwhelmed that I got lightheaded and dizzy and I fell forward and I caught myself. But yeah, that was my main one. And then we were upstairs because there's like what 3 levels. There's like the basement, the main level, and then 2 more up. And it was that like third one up where it was like the original opera area.
A few people go up there.
Yeah. And I was playing 1920s music. And I got a glimpse of a woman like walking past me while I was playing that music, and I'm like, okay,
hi, how's it going?
Yeah, glad you're here, thanks. You know, and just like simple, like subtle, like I'm not here to disturb you, I'm just here to like just feel if you're here,
just be here.
Yeah, so that was kind of cool. Yeah, I want you to share the last one in the basement.
Oh man,
because that I feel like that one was one of your most profound.
I don't remember names very well, but there was a family. So I'll just break it down: husband and wife,
and then
one of their moms. So I think it was the husband's mom, if I'm not wrong. But so I've been pulled to the basement because I just knew there was more. Right.
And I won't go to the basement. I won't go to the basement anywhere. Can't make me.
You've not even been here, have you?
Nope.
Except for hold the light
Yeah,
on that. And I wonder if that's tied back to that house.
maybe.
Maybe. So maybe we can break past that and get Karlie in the basement. Squirrel side note. So, going down there was just a few people that wouldn't exaggerate things and that would stay calm in situations, not to create more.
Knowing that couple, they are very like, we disprove before we believe.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, they definitely are one of those that like.
But I picked up on a very active spot. Like,
yeah,
I was standing there and I could feel these things, and it was just like awareness, right? And so at one point, is this what you're talking about? At one point, I asked the mom if she wanted to feel more, who wanted to experience more.
Yeah.
And so once the mom and the husband volunteered, I moved them. I moved them to where I could see, or where I knew the energy was, which was also new.
That was new, yeah.
So I'm like, what? That's a thing? I can do that shit?
Yeah.
So I put the mom where I was standing, and she got full blown touching, a childlike size energy, like around her, like moving her arm, the whole thing. Yeah. And then the husband of the group, I put him in a different doorway, and past time, I did not go in that room this time. Maybe I would in a different situation where I had someone trusted with me to kind of shift the situation and be aware, like, okay, we need to go. But in that room previously, I had felt like I was going to be trapped there. Does that make sense? Like I was going to be trapped there. So I put him in that doorway, and same thing, like he
felt all the things.
Felt all the things, so emotions, energy moving past and between his legs, as he was standing like a child would do, like Weston does, playing with us.
And I do want to note that if you don't know any lore or some lore about Roz, is that it is said that there is 2 child entities there, as well as like a male and a female, and then some like other, just scatteredness energy. So,
and that could be history from the town, or entities from the town burning. That could be entities attached to the theater. That could be entities attached to the land before the theater, before there was even a Symphona.
Yeah.
And it has all of, not all, but it has some elements there of energy moving through too. In the basement, and there's water that runs under the building, going from one end. Oh, my hands are tingling. From one end of the basement to the other end of the basement. So there's that. Was there something that happened that I didn't mention?
No, not that I can think of. I'm trying to think of like our other. It is eluding me right now.
Yeah.
So let's end it with stories from the first location, or your second location on Main Street.
I forgot that we even talked about that.
Yeah, because I think that's important to talk about, because it used to be an old funeral home, and there was so much activity there.
Yeah.
So much activity. I remember once me and you kind of started establishing a little bit more, and I started renting out that room, I would go in there and be in the shop by myself, because that's where I had my equipment. So I would come in early before the shop opened, and the amount of times I thought a man had gotten in, it got to the point where I stopped coming in if we were not open, because I could hear heavy boots walking up and down the hallway, and it sounded like they were walking closer and closer to me.
Very specific boots too, right?
Yes. Like work
the
boots.
Work boots.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I can tell the difference between like a tennis shoe or like, no, these were work boots. And I swear, more than one occasion, I thought a man got in there. And there was no way for me to get out. Like I was like, well, this is where I die.
This is it. Beat out, Scotty. The yoga room down there had a very specific corner.
And that was the parlor where they would hold the funeral, like
cold children. Yeah, good ways though. The basement there felt oddly clean to me, because
interesting.
And I'll share more about the history of the basement.
Yeah,
or what I believe about the basement. So there was one corner in the yoga room that was just different. And when I started digging, when I started asking questions about like why that corner was different, that was the corner where the casket would be.
That top right corner by the window.
Away from the windows in the back.
Oh, in the back?
Yeah.
Well, then something was going on up there too, because I always hated being right, because it was right between the window and the fireplace.
You're like, deuces, I'm out. So the basement, I don't know what I was expecting in the basement, being the basement of an old funeral home, but it was much cleaned up a lot after the flood of 97.
Yeah.
And so it was just solid concrete. There was a drain that came from the second floor all the way down. So they embalmed on the second floor and processed things up there. So the awareness of what that drain was a little weird, a little nauseated, but not because of the energy.
So where was that drain on the second floor?
It wasn't in her apartment. Was that where you were getting at?
No.
Oh.
So it not in our
right above.
Above, yeah. So like where the apartments are. Okay.
We had a special neighbor. And I don't know if that's where you were thinking that.
No, I wasn't thinking. I was trying to. I was like, no, maybe. But I was thinking, trying to place like in our space. Yeah. Like I don't remember seeing.
Did you know there was an elevator?
No.
So when you come up the ramp from the back door to the left where that wall was, there's an elevator still enclosed there.
What?
Well, that's how they got them up and down.
I did it. So yeah. I always assumed that upstairs was like offices and they did everything on our floor in the basement. Oh, I need to do more digging on this.
Yes. So there's an elevator to the second floor.
So that's creepy.
So
wow. Okay.
And more history on that building that you may hear on the Ghost Walk. Is that even in early times it was a stable. And that, there was birth and death happening there from livestock and that kind of stuff too. It was one of the first, that gave me cold chills for some reason. It was one of the first places coming into town, into Cynthia, that people would stop.
Yeah.
Right. So a lot of activity
just
moving in and out there.
Yeah. Interesting.
It also had a very very crossroad like energy, and so we had talked about the crossroad on the radio.
Yeah.
But I feel like that wasn't the time and place to have that conversation.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people just can't understand.
Yeah. So
physically, when people think about a crossroad, it's an intersection. It's an intersection, and you are at a crossroad. Like, which way do I go? But metaphysically, a crossroad is the meeting point in the physical and the spirit.
Yeah.
So it very much so had crossroad like energy. Yeah. So
now I'm gonna spend some time reflecting back on that time because that was my early introduction to spirituality and stuff. So very untuned, like So it was still not frightening, like that's not the word. But it was still moments of like, oh fuck. Uneasy.
Yeah. Uneasy. There you go.
Uneasiness, yeah. I feel like where the retail space held some energy in there as well. Because it was small. Like it was so small.
That was the back porch.
That was a back porch.
Yeah. And so often that would be where the families
no wonder it felt so heavy because I always felt very claustrophobic even being in there by myself.
It was fucking small too.
Well, yes, but I meant so. Like it felt like there was people around me all the time. Mm-hmm. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Man, the history of Cynthiana and like the entities and the paranormal activity in this town is wild.
Yeah.
Is freaking wild.
So where else have you been in Cynthiana that just gives you a different sense of awareness?
I have not been in the museum.
Okay.
I want to desperately. I love
Yeah.
museums, but something always holds me back. And it's from walking
Yeah.
past it,
Mhm.
and I couldn't tell you why. Something is just, no, you don't belong in there.
Because we understand energy, I could see it being a sensory overload for you, right?
Probably.
Yeah.
Because it's
And there's a
very
lot.
small.
Like, and you could be in there days and days and
And
still
still
not see everything.
Yeah.
Everything's very much so on top of each other as
Oh,
well.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Anywhere else?
Trying to think. The bridge on Pleasant Street
Okay.
gives me a weird vibe. And I always thought it just was because it's a bridge and I'm not fond of bridges.
Yeah.
But I've gotten over that, and
Mhm.
there's still something about that bridge. Not quite sure
Okay.
about that. And then there's some buildings on Main Street that I'm just like,
No thanks.
yeah.
So, what experience did we have at the graveyard? Do you remember? It was almost a shape-shifting experience.
You're gonna have to remind me.
So there was a brick structure.
Oh,
Was that weird or
the
what?
monument.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. So it
Do you
looked.
remember?
Yes, I'm trying to remember. It was. So obviously it was a grave. What's the word I'm looking for?
There's almost an illusion of sorts.
Go on.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to wrap my head around it.
We were at the graveyard, which that's exactly what it's called. It's the oldest cemetery in Cynthiana.
Yeah, it's on
From
Main
what
Street.
I remember, it's on Main Street, down before the overpass.
Yeah.
Right.
On the right, if you're going towards the overpass.
Falmouth. Yep.
Yeah.
So we were taking pictures or just wandering or just hanging out. Like the hell if I know.
We were doing pictures for Witches Day Out School.
Gotcha. But it was
in the beginning of the year.
Before the others got there.
Mm-hmm.
So we had walked down. We had Weston with us that day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So from a distance, this structure, this wall, looked round.
Yes.
And then you didn't realize that it was square until you got really close to it.
It looked like a well.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that's a weird place for a well.
Yeah.
And then as we got closer to it, it was a rectangle.
Mm-hmm. Like there had been, were they called crypts?
Yes, that was the word I was trying to find. Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Something tells me there's different verbiage as well.
Yeah. But for the sake of
the story today,
right,
yeah. So that was different.
Yeah.
That was a different energy because we were both like, no, that's a circle, that's a well. And then I walked over, and I think for the first couple of times I said it, I'm like, no, Karlie, it's not.
Yeah.
You still thought I was crazy.
I did. I was like, but I hadn't come up to it yet because I'm like, we're not looking at the same thing.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
What? It was almost maddening. And then as I got up to it, I was even more mad because I'm like,
she had the aha moment too.
Yeah, I was like,
so
what?
I wonder, were we seeing a different dimension? Were we seeing where there once was a well?
Maybe.
The fuck if I know.
Yeah.
I just work.
It was so weird. It was so weird. So,
man, I
man,
don't know what time it is.
It's okay. But that's our take on paranormal and like how we view that side of the world, I guess we'll call it. And it's something that we just experience every day, and it's just like a part of our everyday.
It's a new norm.
Yeah, like very rarely do we go and seek it because it just happens.
Yeah.
You know? But I would love to hear your guys' take and your guys' comments and stories. So go and share it in the comments on Facebook, send us an email, a message. Y'all got our information, and I'll put our information.
Maybe that's some more thought to put to guests as well.
Yeah.
Right? Like who else has stories?
Yeah.
So anyway, there's that.
Okay.
All right, I guess is that it then?
That's it for this episode, y'all.
Bye guys. See you next time.
We'll see ya.